fire 20, 30, 40, 50, 120 shots from that weapon, whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle, is ridiculous. I'm continuing to push to eliminate the sale of those things.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Death by Tyranny podcast. Yesterday, I was trying to make a white pilling video so everybody had something to kind of uplift their spirits. There isn't a whole lot going on in the mainstream news because everything that's going on, really, they don't want you to know about, or they don't want you to know why it's happening. But we have to really start getting to the bottom of everything, and we have to do that. We have to understand where this came from. We all have our lines in the sand, and maybe the vaccine, maybe guns, maybe God. Whatever your line in the sand is, understand everybody has one, even the ones that are on the other side of the fence from conservatives and Republicans or whatever. Everybody has a line in the sand. Well, America had a line in the sand too, okay? And what happened is you had tyrants and big pharma, big tech, and they took that line and they kept pushing it back and back and back. And now we're in a corner like a dog, and that's where they want us. Because they know to be able to take more of our rights away, to be able to force their will upon us, we have to do something drastic. We have to do something instinctual. We have to bite. We have to be the dog in the corner that bites, okay? That's what they want. They want the civil war. They want this hot war to go on so they can instill laws like no assault weapons and things like that. But for them to truly succeed faster than they already are, we have to turn around and bite. And that's what they're trying to do. And there's more evidence of this than you think there is. How many of you have seen in the mainstream news them talk about federal employees being mandated to get vaccinations? How many of you have seen nurses and doctors being fired because of vaccine mandates and things like this? Probably a lot of you. So the thing is there is no federal law that is saying, hey, you have to be vaccinated or you can't work here. That isn't a law. So what they're doing is they're using it as a scare tactic. They are telling these hospitals that it's okay to fire their employees. But what they're doing is they're bringing in FEMA to... Stupid fucking music thing. Anyways, they're bringing in FEMA to replace these nurses and doctors. And there are clips out there. You can find them on InfoWars and places, kind of underground social media sources of those doctors and nurses that are being fired talking about, hey, I was let go from my job because I wasn't vaccinated. And they go talk to the FEMA nurses and doctors and they say, hey, are you vaccinated for this disease that you are in the hospital fighting against? And they go, no, it's a choice. I don't have to be vaccinated. So these doctors and nurses were being let go under false pretenses that they had to be vaccinated. A lot of you believe that there's a federal law mandating federal employees be vaccinated. Go find it. Go look up the federal law that says that it's mandated for these federal employees to be vaccinated. You keep hearing about OSHA, that they finally, I guess, wrote something and turned it in where if you have more than 100 employees, you're going to have to be vaccinated. But all this, as of right now, is just hearsay. It's just empowering employees and hospitals to let these people go, and people aren't even thinking about it because that they truly believe that these things are going to become law, and they're scared. We've told you many of us, me included, that they don't really have the power to do this. You're going to have to play chicken with them. You're going to have to say, hey, you know, if this is what you want to do, I'm not going to back down. You're going to have to fire me. I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm going to sue your ass off. And that's just what we have to do for now. And we can't fuel this hostility and become that you know, dog in the corner that bites back, because when we do that, they're just going to take more. It's going to be less that we have on our side to fight back. Mass non-compliance is really the only thing we have at this moment, but it's working. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. The more that it works, the more flights that get canceled, and they have to come out and make up this bullshit on why they had to cancel all these flights. Southwest said they canceled over 1,000 flights, some coming out of Ohio, where I live, on days where it was bright and sunny, where other companies didn't cancel flights. Yet the director comes out, or who, you know, the person in charge, and says this isn't the reason why, yada yada yada. It's because of storms and everything else. And we know that's not true. So that's where we're at now. But I really wanted to get on here because at some point I'm not going to go live on Facebook anymore. I'm going to try to go live more on YouTube because I'm trying to get the following over there. There's a website that's up and coming called cozy.tv. It's Nick Fuentes' new social media. It's kind of the alternative to YouTube, where all of people that want to be able to not be censored and talk about these things freely are probably going to be headed. The only issue is you kind of have to have a following, because they pay for that space and that bandwidth. So for me to even apply to go over there, I'll have to have, you know, 100, couple hundred people watching and subscribers, and, you know, a little bit to offer them back. So that's what I'm hoping to do. And I meant to bring it up last night, and it just slipped my mind because I really wanted to get the message I was talking about out last night to everybody, to give them something to prepare them for what we're in store for. Because we're going to need something, right? And apparently what we have now, some people don't feel that it's enough because they're caving. You know, every person that goes to their side because they're scared, you have to understand that you're helping them. You're helping them win. I understand it's going to be difficult. Okay? I don't want to lose my job, but you have to be prepared to. It's either suffer and sacrifice now, or endure this punishment until it's unbearable, and then our children have no hope. Or even worse, you know, somebody like the Proud Boys that has these federal agents deep inside their organization fly off the handles, and they talk somebody, you know, that's schizophrenic into doing something ungodly, and then they have, you know, the reason to take all our weapons away. And then, I mean, it's not so much that we need the guns to fight the government. It's that we need the guns so the government knows that we can. Because nobody truly wants that fight. And the people that say they do are just ignorant. They either don't have an understanding of what the loss of life truly looks like, or maybe they weren't in the military and they just don't understand how violent and evil something like that would be. And that should most definitely be a last case scenario. Our forefathers did not go and say, hey, we are going to have a very bloody battle just because we want to. It was the last case scenario. They tried tons of other things to get their freedoms before it took that path. Now, with that said, another reason why I wanted to bring up YouTube is because I go live here. I would imagine I'd probably get banned here before I will get banned on YouTube. But either way, at some point I'll get banned on both. So I have to try my best to kind of walk that fine line until I get enough people to where I have something to offer these alternative platforms, so I'm not just, hey, I'm this guy that has one or two people that follows me, so you care if I use your network space or whatever. Because personally, I don't have a whole lot of reason anymore to hold back. And I don't want to hold back. And I've been told before, what you say sounds hateful, or don't say this, you might lose your job. Well, truthfully honest, I'm at the point where I don't care anymore. So I don't know why I'm holding back and coming on here every day and telling you guys that it's time to stop holding back. So for me to do it is a little hypocritical. I've truly tried to better myself, but with that means that my morals and my belief, I have to stand by them, and I have to try to spread that message, outward. So it's truly noticed, and I truly know that I've done those things and that I've become a better person. And I said it yesterday, it's going to be hard conversations, and it might sound bad to some people, but it is what it is. That line in the sand for America kept getting pushed back, and every time it did, they made it sound like it was a good thing. And it's just not. It's not a good thing. When the government in California and the governor comes out and says, we're going to allow people that are molesting little boys, if there's not a certain age gap, they don't have to register on the sex offender list. That's not okay. They try to come off with these one-off stories, these one-in-a-million scenarios to try to say, well, what if this happened? Would you want them to be on the sex offender list? But in truth, it's helping hundreds of pedophiles in California hurt little boys and little girls. And when they say we're going to go into the stores and we're going to take away the boys and girls sections because we don't want to force gender onto children. That's not natural. A little boy should be raised as a little boy. If he's having issues with his sexuality or something like that, it's difficult to take him to a counselor and to try to help him and get him on the right path again. So California didn't do that. Instead, they said, well, let him wear a dress. Well, that line in the sand for America got pushed back a little further. Well, this has been happening for 30 years. It's so much to the point that you can go on national TV and attack a whole race of people while saying, hey, Black Lives Matter, but here's what we got to do. We got to put down all European culture in America. We have to stop Christianity from spreading in our schools. So it's kind of an oxymoron every time they come on TV to spread this message of equality. At the same time, they are constantly attacking another group of people. It is not equality. It is not progress. They are not being progressive. They are reversing. They are seeking revenge. And that is what your children have to look forward to. They will be forced as little boys to grow up and be feminine and wear dresses and have no sexuality and not be told to produce children and offspring and have heritage. What do you think that's going to do to your children's mental capacity as they grow up? When we tell our children they can be anything, we have to start saying, you can be anything great. You should be a very great, respectable human being when you grow up. Not, hey, you can grow up and put on a pair of fairy wings and walk down the street, butt-ass naked and call it, whatever the bondage festivals are they have out in California, where people take their children, right? and they have these gay pride parades where they're walking around with their genitalia hanging out. Is that what you want your children to grow up and be? When you tell your children you can be anything that you want to be, is that what you picture them doing? Because TikTok, YouTube, all these social media platforms, that's what they are telling them is good. That's what they are telling them is popular if they want to be cool. And all you're doing is saying, hey, you can be whatever you want to be. Well, Dad, well, Mom, I want to be like this TikTok star. I want to show my ass and titties on OnlyFans and make millions of dollars doing ungodly thing and spreading STDs. That's what I want to do. You said I could be anything I wanted to be, and look at me now, Mom and Dad. Is that what you want for your children? That is where America is at now. That is where the line in the sand has been pushed. There is no line in the sand in America anymore. So we can't even push back. It's gone. So to truly try to fix everything that's going on, we just have to we have to be the bad guy. When your children's act out and you don't know what to do, but you don't want to bust their ass or whatever, you can continue to let them do this outlandish behavior, or you can say, you know what? I'm the adult, I'm the parent. I have to fix this. It's my job to do these things. And even if that makes me the bad guy right now, so be it. We have to be America's bad guy right now. And that sounds very harsh. That sounds like it wouldn't be a good thing. But people need their ass busted. I don't know how else to tell it to you. We have to talk to these younger generation, and there are groups of young people that are doing good things. The Zoomer generation is very divided, but the one half of them are doing very good things. It's the Boomer generation that destroyed this country, and it's my generation, the millennial generation, that let them do it. The millennial generation said, hey, we're going to be libertarians. We're going to let people do whatever the fuck they want to do, and paid no attention to the Boomer generation that came before us that decided doing drugs and having these sex festivals were the way that America should go forward in life. And now we have a generation in the Zoomers and the Alpha generation that is either saying, yes, we want to keep partying our balls off, and then the other half is going, no, we have to get back to Christian values. We have to close our borders. We have to make them secure. We have to get back to Christ. We have to get women at home with the children. We have to get them out of public schools because our public schools are lost. We have to embrace our heritage and our cultures and stop all this everybody doing everything nonsense. And it seems cruel. It seems mean. But the only reason it didn't seem cruel and mean when our forefathers did it is because they already had this instilled in them when they started this nation. It was only before that, after that came all this crazy sex worshiping nonsense. You know, there used to be a generation that when you had marital sexual relationships, you did it to produce offspring. You didn't do it because it felt good. You did it because that's what you were supposed to do as a species, as a Christian. You were supposed to produce fruits of your love to continue on your heritage and your culture and to keep building on this foundation that our forefathers built for us. And now you have marriages that end because, the man or the woman, they just want to have fun. They want to feel alive again in the bedroom. That's fucking nonsense. That's disgusting. Stop being whores. Okay? Stop being husbands that don't stay home and take care of their kids.
You have an hour, baby.
All right. And that's what I mean about holding back. We have to stop. We have to show our children that this is not okay. We have to tell our kids that some things might feel good, but it's not the right thing to do. It's not godlike. It's not the way to get back to greatness. It's not what you would want your children to think of you for when you're gone. There are too many people in this country that they don't care what people think about after they're dead and gone. Would you rather somebody look back on you and say, "Hey, that was a family man that kept his family together and was strong and produced lots of kids, and their kids grew up to do great things"? Or would you rather die and be remembered as that 50-year-old that died of cancer because he didn't take care of his body, and he didn't pay attention, and his wife ran off because she wanted to do what feels good? Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? People are no longer thinking about these things in that context. There are great people and great authors that write books that tell this, that have a message, that want to be known for something more than just a human that failed his way through life. That is all millennials and the boomer generation is doing right now. We are failing through life. Yeah, we might have that cool, awesome night we went out and partied, and yeah, man, we almost went to jail, and it was an awesome time. That was so cool. Is that what you want to be remembered for? You know how many funerals that I've been to of people that have overdosed, and the only thing people talk about is, you remember that one time where we almost went to jail? You remember that one time when we got so fucked up? Is that what you want people to talk about at your funeral? Or do you want to be remembered, them to be talking about, wow, he was such a great husband. Wow, she was such a great wife. Yeah, you know, they struggled a lot and they had issues, but they pursued. They turned inward to God, and they were a great family, and this is a great loss of life because they were truly giving back to society and setting a great example for their children. My father has gone on to become a great person, but he failed upward through life. I have failed upward through life. We all know people, right? But you can turn that around now, and you can become something more than that time we almost got arrested when you're gone. People don't think about these things because they have forgotten God, so they don't care about it. They don't believe that there's something after. They don't believe that you can look down on your family and see how they truly felt about your life. They think it's just lights out. You better live it up while you can. Don't get me wrong. You should absolutely do the most with your life and try to fulfill everything that you want to do in life, but understand that doing the things that everybody thinks is normal right now is not the way. And if that is how you're living life, you better hope there's nothing after. Because you will be tormented eternally, looking down on your children and your family, talking about that one time we almost got arrested, that one time we got so fucked up. Trust me, after 1,000 years in purgatory, hearing those stories, you will not be proud. That is not what you will want to see for eternity. And that's why you have these people that are so passionate in the LGBTQ community about Christianity not existing, because they don't want to think about that. They don't want to think that they're going to have to look down on the impact that they had on others' lives and how they led them down a dark path to continue that cycle. They don't want to have to replay every day in purgatory all the evil, disgusting things that they did with their life when they could have been doing something great. They have decided to just discard the inevitable. So it's time to stop holding back And if I say something that would lead me to lose my job, so be it. I will be gone one day anyways, and at least I will be able to look down, and my family will be able to say, he said what he needed to say. Yeah, he might have lost a good job, but he stuck by his morals and his principles, and he tried to send a good message out to the people he cared about. That to me is way more important than a $60,000 a year job. That is nothing. Especially with Biden in the White House, that's dollars on the cents to what it was a year ago. So why would I care if I lost my job, if it cost me biting my tongue off and not saying what I thought would fix America and fix my family and fix my community? The only thing that the left and people that call us racist and Nazis have is just that. We make fun of them all the time, saying you're getting offended by words, and sticks and stones may break my bones. This is what we were raised on, and all this feeling nonsense and being offended. That's not the way to do it. You're canceling people for words, but then we turn around and silence ourselves because we're afraid of words. We're afraid of being called bigots and Nazis and racist. Are you a racist? Are you a bigot? Are you a Nazi? No, you don't think so? Then why do you care what they say? When they call you a Nazi and racist, turn around and say, hey, I politely disagree with you. I believe I'm a Christian. And the things you are doing are evil. I don't hate you for it, but I do not condone it, and I will continue to try to spread a better message so people can be better and we can bring this country back to where it needs to be. And then walk away. It's that easy. The moment that they turn around or shut their mouth, that them calling you a Nazi, it no longer affects you unless you allow it to. And I know that our side doesn't really care for the word white nationalist because of optics and what that word has been made to represent. But being a nationalist is not a bad thing. Caring about your country's security and putting your country first is not a bad thing. And they just throw the word white on there to be offensive. Why do we get offended when they call us white? I don't understand that. Somebody please help me understand why when they put the word white in front of things, it offends us so much. We are only doing what we are making fun of them and persecuting them for. Oh, saying Black Lives Matter, that's ignorant, that's racist, that's stupid. And then they turn around and they call us white nationalists, and we're like, oh my God, I'm so offended. Knock that shit off. You, if you are white, if you are a Christian, why? Why get offended by those things? Like I said, there's no shame in turning around and correcting these people. But color of your skin absolutely does matter. But it should not offend you. So if they add the word white, so be it. That's what you are. If someone is doing something, like there's a mass shooting, they will always say, there's a white shooter downtown, yada, yada, yada. Well, they're adding that word white in there to be offensive. And I know that because if it's somebody else that's not white, they will just say there's a suspect downtown committing a shooting. They will leave that word out. They are trying to use the word white to be offensive, and we're letting them. They are winning. In a lot of ways, the other side is very much smarter than we are. They are taking everything that we use and flipping it inward on us. They have too much control of too many key assets in this fight for us to allow them to use things like calling us white against us. You have to be braver than that. And we have to get over this. I don't want to have these tough conversations. I don't want to, have a conversation about race or sexuality. That time is over. Many of you keep saying you'll lose your job before you're vaccinated. Why wouldn't you lose your job to stick up for your race? That makes no sense to me. When I go to work and I talk about the laws and beliefs that I believe in, I'm not afraid of being fired for that. Just like I would get fired for the vaccine or not taking the vaccine, I would get fired for somebody, that says, hey, I think Christians are bad and they do all these terrible things. If I turned around and said, you're ignorant, you don't know what you're talking about, Christians made this nation. There are probably people at my job that would go to supervisors and say, oh my God, he said this. All we said was Christians was evil, and they'll look past that and they'll fire me. Well, being fired for sticking up for my culture, my race, my religion, my family, my beliefs, and not being vaccinated, these are all the same thing. America lost its time, line in the sand. We might as well lose ours and fight for everything you believe in. It's not just about the vaccine. It's not just about, them replacing the white culture in America. It's all of it. We are at the time where it's all or nothing, and that's what it is. So, I've lost all my reason to hold back. I think it's time that a lot more of us do that. But I'm going to get off here. I got some family over at the house, and they're being kind of loud. So, all right, be safe. God first. Peace, y'all.